Hey guys, in this video I just wanted to show you how I used Kokomi and Klee in Spiral 12. And I think it's going to be interesting because most people say that Kokomi is really bad and very useless, and arguably you can do some of the stuff I was doing with Barbara or Mona. But you can still use Kokomi like this in a pretty competitive team. Klee is not considered one of the strongest DPS, and people say she's kind of hard to play, but I just wanted to show you kind of an overload team that works pretty well. I didn't show footage of the first two floors in Spiral just for the sake of time, but these teams can definitely clear those with 3 stars also. As we're on the last chamber, we take the 40% attack buff with a 15% defense decrease. On the previous 2 floors, I like to take buffs that work for the entirety of floor 12 so that we have them on the last chamber. Here we apply Cryo for Viridescent Veneer Elemental Infusion. Next we aim the Venti ult in a spot where we can hit both of the rune guards at the same time. The Venti ult doesn't get infused initially, so then we use Diona's ult to infuse it with Cryo. And finally we have Kokomi. Even though she's on the field for less than a second, she provides a massive attack buff for Ayaka from the Thrilling Tales passive and the Millilith 4-piece set. I forgot to do a dash right before Ayaka's burst, which gives her a 20% cryo damage bonus. In my case, that could bring my damage from 12k to 14k ticks. If my Ayaka was a little bit better, we should have been able to one-cycle both of the rune guards using just one burst. To do this, you usually need a 5-star weapon on Ayaka, and then very good artifacts, and have her pretty invested. This team will work really well on floor 12, chamber 1 first half, chamber 2 second half, and then chamber 3 first half. It struggles a bit against the Magu Kenki and the Lego Hypostasis because they have so much HP. Next, we're going to have a look at my Klee Overload team. The key to this team is that we use Bennett to give an attack buff to everyone, and we snapshot this with their bursts. I'm going to put a little ding sound for every snapshot that we do. When I was playing this also, I kind of forgot that Klee's burst can also snapshot, so I wasn't focusing on snapshotting her burst too much, but in the future I'll definitely do that. Otherwise, we can watch how I use Klee, who's not considered one of the most meta DPSs, in combination with Fischl and Beidou in order to create tons of overload reactions, and basically I just have very high stats on them in terms of their artifacts that we can look at later. These will really help in order to do enough damage, but because Fischl and Beidou can provide off-field damage and Bennett can provide a continuous snapshot buff to everybody's abilities, this team works really well, and I highly recommend it. One variation you can put on this team is switching Fischl for a ball, or switching Beidou for a ball, and basically you use the ball E skill while you have the Beidou ult activated and Klee on the field on the Bennett ult. Then once the Beidou burst and Klee burst time out, you switch over to the ball and you use her burst to recharge everyone's energy. As I don't have a ball myself, hopefully I could borrow someone's account to actually show you guys proof of the concept and how it looks like in Spiral Abyss. Once again, in order to be clearing floor 12 in a timely manner, you need really high investment in your artifacts, so high crit stats, high attack, and 5-star weapons really help. Otherwise, we can see here Klee taking out the Lego Hypostasis just in the nick of time, activating the Beidou burst and Klee's burst to finish him off. And that's the footage of me getting my final star in Spiral Abyss for a total of 36 stars after getting the help of Kokomi and a C6 Beidou off of her banner. For the rest of this video, I'm just quickly going to go through everyone's builds and just point out what weapons they're using and how much investment I have in their artifacts. Alright, so my Klee has probably my best artifact set, which is a Wanderer's Troop set where every artifact had about 4 crit rolls into it, and that gives her a really high crit damage ratio. Beto is hyper invested with lots of crit stats and attack, and so is Fischl. Both of these I'm trying to build them as a DPS, and then we'll look at their weapons also. Bennett, I'm also trying to build as a DPS. You could see he was hitting kind of hard for some of his E skills and his bursts. That's because I have a lot of crit rate and attack stats. Venti is better on EM, but I only have one EM set, which is on Sucrose, so he's on an old-fashioned DPS set. Ayaka is built Blizzard Strayer DPS with low crit rate and lots of crit damage. Diona is built for healing, high HP to give us a good shield, and no healing bonus, except for her 2-piece maiden set. Next we have Kokomi, and I only had her at level 20 with level 1 talents. What's making her so useful is the Thrilling Tales passive buff and the Millilith set. 4-piece that works really well with her E skill. Klee is running her best in slot 5-star I got off a standard banner. Beto is running a Favonius sword for energy recharge. Fischl is running a prototype crescent that I have ready for Ganyu, but it just gives her a lot of attack. Venti's running stringless. Ayaka's running Anamoa Kageuchi. Diona has sacrificial bow, which helps her use her E skill more often. Kokomi's using the Thrilling Tales, as I said before, for the passive. And we're on to artifacts, where I'll let you pause the video to take a closer look at which set I'm using on who. Finally, the last important factor is constellations and talents. Here you can see how many constellations each of these characters have. Beto and Fischl have quite a few, although Beto is the most important to get up to C6, and all of the 5-stars are at C0. For their talents, here you can see how much I've invested into them. Mostly I've tried taking Ayaka's, Klee's, and Beto's talents up the most because they're the main damage dealers. And that brings us to the end of the video. Please let me know in the comments below if you like this type of video. It's a little bit faster and easier to make than my math videos, which I'm still working on, but they just take a little bit more time. Please hit the bell notifications, like, and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.